Hello fellow RVers, this is Gary with Ruff RV Life. We like looking at freedom, and my wife Sharon is the camera person this morning, and it is 9 o'clock in the morning, 68, 70 degrees. Today is March 15th, 2020, and where has freedom brought us? Well, freedom has brought us to the town of Bradenton, Florida, to a state park called Lake Manatee State Park. It is a two-loop park. About, I think it's 60 or 61 campsites in this park, and we're going to do a review on it. And we're out walking our dogs this morning. And that's the entrance road right there, the Highway 301. You come in, and there's the ranger check-in station. And then you continue down the road to the campgrounds. So we're going to go down the road and do a review of this campground. So let's go. And this is in central Florida, we're going to say, because it's the biggest city it's by would be Tampa, but it is by Bradenton, which is a good sized city. You'll find anything you want in the city of Bradenton. It's off of Highway 301. So this is the entrance road to the park. As you can see, it's typical Florida. You got the palmettos and the sand pines and scrub pines and typical Florida terrain.
The real Florida,
as they say. Nose to the ground.
They're a little more chill on this road walk than they've been on the path walks, right? Would love to know what they smell all the time. These two little curly-tailed dogs. We have seen, between this park and the last park, maybe we've seen like 6 snake skins and a snake. And they are scared to death of snake skins, so I'm hoping they'll be the same way if they ever encounter a snake. But I don't like them going off in this kind of brush.
Now off to the left you can see some campers.
That camper looks like he's probably at the dump station.
This park, like the last park we had, Little Manatee River, has lots of trails. But they don't mark their trails with the names that's on the map, like Campground Loop, Oxbow Loop, and etc., etc. All they put is these signs that says multi-use trail, and you got to figure it out from the map which multi-use trail it is.
Building dendrites.
Yeah.
There you go. But anyway, that is Campground. Yeah. The first one you come to on the left is Campground Loop. This one over here goes around to Bobcat Loop. And it also, if you go to the right, it's Bobcat Loop. If you go to the left, it'll take you to the lake area. And none of these trails are extremely long. They're all less than a mile each. So very doable to do some nice little walks.
I would say that we've had no issues here with our Verizon service. It's been very good. We've had no issue with internet or any of that phone calls, so we've got good cell service here. The bathrooms here are nice. They're showers and you know, modern bathrooms.
Okay, we've almost made it back to the campground area, the dump station. This road is not as long as the one at our last place.
Our site itself is very nice. It's 30 amp service here with water at site. No sewer at site, but they do have the dump station. So this way is the boat ramp and the day use area down this road. So we're going to walk down that road and take a look. Campground is like this way. Most of the sites here though are hard packed sand, and they do have numerous walking trails here. They got the nice playground, they got the swimming beach. Bike riding, I guess you could ride it on the trails, but mostly the paved areas.
We have rated this park a hooked to your front ring park if your dog is prey driven. And sometimes I hook front and back for Luna, just to keep from getting my arm jerked out.
For those of you that don't understand that, this is the front ring chest pole. Then we have a top ring up here. And if I need to, I can hook this leash. Right here it comes apart. I can hook it to both rings at the same time.
Yes, these are new harnesses from Two Hounds Design, and we love them because our previous harnesses did not have the option for a top clip. So when we were on a more calm walk, we'd prefer to clip them to the top, and they do fine. But the past two parks have had a lot of wildlife. This one probably more so than the last one. And then you just hang on for dear life. And oh yes, we have worked on training. Lots of training. And they're better than they were, but we still have a little way to go.
So here we are at the boat ramp slash fishing dock. We made a little right-hand turn here to go down to the boat ramp.
This lake is beautiful. And you can see it through if you can look straight out that way. A lot of places in the park and on the trails you can see that lake. It's created from a dam on the Manatee River. I would love to kayak it, but just save that for another time. Have to watch them. They will scarf up anything. Tara once ate a fish hook. Yep. But sometimes they eat and ask questions later. Ooh, somebody did not pick up after their dog there. Whenever they encounter other dog poop, they're like very careful to step over it and go around it, like it just disgusts them. But yet they will scarf down some bunny poop, deer poop, or fresh horse poop in a heartbeat. Go figure.
Well, this is the trailer parking for the boat ramp. The nice little porta potty there. Ladies, I'm going to give a little plug for a female urinal device. I use one for hiking. Cost about 11 or 12 bucks on Amazon when I bought it. But it has come in very handy also for using porta potties and very disgusting public bathrooms. You just stand there like a dude and do your thing. It's totally awesome. There you have it. There is Lake Manatee. Now, it's supposed to be a good fishing lake.
Okay.
We're on one of the multi-use trails, as they call them, but it's actually got a name. And I didn't bring my map with me, so I can't tell you the name. Well, anyway, we're going from the boat ramp to the playground. I think. I don't have my map. And of course, there's no signs.
I think you're correct.
But I think we'll find out.
Yeah, and again,
but as you can see, it's a nice wide path. And it's not hilly, it's not, a hard walk. It's just flat Florida.
Right. The worst thing that you'll encounter is some sugar sand.
Yeah. And if you notice, we're not swatting ourselves, so the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums are non-existent. which, like I said in another video, that's a big plus for Florida. Especially Florida on the water.
There's another path right there. We don't know where it goes.
We'll give you a good shot of the lake up here. They call it Lake Manatee State Park, but the campground is not lakefront. And the lake access is actually limited to the boat ramp and to the day use area where the beach is.
But it's a very short walk from the campground.
Yes, it is. And it's on a paved path or a concrete path. So this is where they would rent the kayaks and the canoes. And there's a man with his trolling motor. You can only put 20 horsepower motors or less on this lake. And there's the dam on the Little Manatee River that formed Lake Manatee. The lake out here, I've read and been told it's a very good fishing lake. Right before you get to the state park, there is a store there, like a general store. I noticed that's a bait store also, so you can get bait and tackle close to the park if you're a fishing person.
Uh-oh.
What?
Girls, no pets beyond this point.
So this is your beach area. It's got some sand there on out. Of course, if you see an alligator, you're supposed to report it immediately to the park people. And then back over in here is your playground area. There's a playground itself up there. Then you have your restrooms. There's a volleyball net. There's horseshoes. And then, of course, the playground.
And here you will find lots of Spanish moss. Gopher tortoises, bunny rabbits, birds, squirrels.
Can't go in Florida without a squirrel.
Armadillos, snakes
No bad snake.
that we've seen.
We've seen, yeah.
But we have been in places where there's warning signs like beware of rattlesnakes. Although Florida has rattlesnakes
Yeah.
and moccasins.
Yeah, well, there's the volleyball. Over here you see the horseshoe pits. And then, of course, the pavilion. This is the day use area. And then the other side of the pavilion is the playground. And Luna wants to go that way.
Something about the smell of fresh moss on the ground that just makes her run to it.
I usually do these videos with my car and drive to different areas, but today we decided to do it with the dogs.
So this is
Yeah.
and this is a very mild dog walk, by the way.
Yeah, don't think they walk in a straight line.
They like to smell things.
No, we call it zooming.
And they have been very good this morning.
Because they will zoom from side to side and stop on a dime. Or go backwards. Because apparently they miss the smell 3 feet once you get by it.
Uh-oh, squirrel. Warning, Will.
We have squirrel alert.
Yeah. I don't have my brake. I usually use two hands. One hand to hold the leash and one hand to brake so my arm doesn't get pulled out of socket. There's a horseshoe pits, nice pavilion, and the playground.
This one here will actually try to climb the tree after the squirrel.
Yeah. She's quite the dog.
Well, off to the right, there's another path that goes out. The playground.
This playground was full of children yesterday.
And Florida does put garbage cans in around their parks.
Thank you, Florida. If you've ever had to carry poop in your pocket for any length of time, you appreciate trash cans being spread throughout. Love the moss.
Yeah, if you want to keep your park clean, put out a few trash cans. Not that that's any excuse for people not taking their garbage with them.
But it does make it easier.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the trail here that goes and connects with the other trail that we just showed you. And that's a nice little walk through the palmettos.
Like my wife alluded to earlier, none of these trails are multi-mile trails. They're all short, less than a mile loops. I mean, you can band them together and make a little bit of a walk out of them, but on their own, they're not bad. The trail right here, I do believe, is called the Campground Loop.
Yes.
It kind of goes around the campground.
And this trail will connect with the trail we just showed you on down there. Or you can just walk around the campground and come out on the main road.
If you leave the park and go by the dump station, right up from the dump station, there's a trail, goes off to your right. And then you walk down that trail a little bit, and then it'll split right or left. And that's a good trail to catch, because then you can do one day, you can go to the right, come back the next day, go to the left, and they all interlock, so that's a good entry point. This loop this asphalt right here is the trail that goes through the campground itself. And it connects all the bathrooms together. There's two of them, one for each loop. This is the way we go back to our motorhome. So if you were a person with a disability, you could drive a motorized wheelchair or something similar down these asphalt paths to go to just about any place you'd want to go. So we're getting ready to walk through the campground back to our motorhome, and we're going to try and take some footage of the campground itself, but we do try to respect people's privacy, so we'll see what we can get for you. So we're going to go ahead through the campground.
That's another issue we have right there. Oh, girls. Like two kids fishing, he says. That is hilarious.
This is part of the loop.
This is the first loop.
Yeah. With site 11 right over here. Site 12 up around the site 12 is over here. We got 14 on down the road a little bit. They're all back in sites. Mostly hard packed sand. It's more campsites. And we're going to continue walking down the path.
Check out this tree here.
This is the bathhouse for the first loop.
I don't know if we'll be using it. Probably use our own bathroom. This is in the midst of the coronavirus precautions and whatnot, so.
Yeah, and we were only here 2 days, so we have plenty of room.
Right, so we're just going to go on ahead and avoid any unnecessary contact.
Now the path splits here, and if you were to continue to go that way, you would go into the restroom of the other camping loop, the second camping loop. And this is our campsite right here. We're in site 27. This is actually a paved site.
And this was the last site that was available, so we'd have somewhere to stay over the weekend. Because, as I've said before, it's hard to get in these Florida state parks. They are booked up way in advance. And if you don't book way in advance, your only hope is a cancellation.
Yeah. It's another site across the way.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone there
No.
since we've arrived. But that's a nice little site too. Backs up to the next campground loop.
And here we have campsite 30. And that's the dumpster. And then that would exit the park, and that would go back to the loop. You get garbage cans recycling over here. And some more sites. This is typical of most of the sites. It's just hard packed dirt. And they're most of them seem to be level.
Okay, this is site 26 and a good example of what the campsites look like here. They have some nice brush in between, palmettos. Most that we've seen. They're only 30 amp. And they have water hookups, your standard picnic table and fire ring. And there's the other camp loop through the bushes. And more awesome trees. It is moving day, and I just wanted to give you a quick peek of the other loop. This is sites 31 through 60. It's just very much like our loop. Bathhouse right over there. Here's the path crossing the road that connects the two campground loops and leads to the bathrooms. So a real plus for this park and a lot of Florida parks is the awesome space in between campsites. Is the brush that's in between sites. Gives you a little bit of privacy. Now they have recently had a prescribed burn here, it looks like. But that's just the nature of what we do. Site 46 will be nice when all that grows out. Nicely spaced, lots of brush. I like it. And there you have it. The second loop here at Lake Manatee State Park. And there's our line of RVs at the dump. Wait, I know that guy.
Okay, well, we've made it back to our campground, and just for reference, we left our campground, we walked down to the ranger station, then we walked up to the boat ramp, then we walked over to the playground, and then we walked back to our campground. And that was about 1.5 miles for the whole tour. So it's not a long way. But to wrap up this video, so today is the March 15th, it's our move day. And right now it's about 11 o'clock, and it's probably 70s right now.
Yeah,
upper 70s.
Not bad. Little light breeze every now and
Little
then.
light breeze, but it'll be up in the mid 80s before the day's out. And of course, it'll be in the lower 70s when we wake up tomorrow morning. We are headed to Hillsborough River State Park, which is Tampa, north side of Tampa. That's where we're moving to today. It's about an hour and 10-minute drive, so it's not a hard drive today at all.
Easy peasy.
Yes.
I'll say a few things that I love about this park.
Okay.
Is that there are plenty of dog walking opportunities. If you want to kayak, you've got the lake. You can go down to the Rye Preserve, which is nearby.
RYE.
And you can drop into the river there. There's a kayak launch. You can bike these park roads. They're not a lot, but it's very scenic here. So this reminds me of Florida. Like, people think of Florida beaches, Florida,
Miami,
white sand and all.
crap type stuff, the big cities.
But this is Florida. I'm a native Floridian, and it's palmettos, pine trees, oak trees, Spanish moss. This is a good slice of Florida right here. The real Florida, as Florida Parks calls it.
Now, as being native Floridians, and we do stay here 2 months of the year, this is our home base, you will find that most of the state parks in Florida are very good. Florida has a very good state park system. They're all nice, they're all well kept, maintained, they're clean. You can hardly go to a state park in Florida that you probably won't like. Continue on now that I've had my little Florida, pro Florida, and they give seniors a nice discount.
Right, Florida seniors. You have to be a Florida resident.
Yeah.
So we've definitely taken advantage of that.
Yes.
Again, you have to book way in advance because these parks do fill up, and they always have.
Yeah.
This isn't something new, or this just happened because a lot of people are getting into RV lifestyle. No, Florida's always had our visitors from up north, and so you have snowbird season, and then that goes right into spring break, and that goes right into summers and families getting out. So you have to book ahead. So overall, we really like this park. It's set back away from the hustle bustle of a lot of places in this area. So it was a nice, quiet, peaceful drive to get here on 301.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We left Little Manatee River State Park, which is 301, on I-75 a little bit, come here, get off, get back on 301 to come here. And we leave here, we're going to go back out, get on I-75, go up to Hillsborough, and go get back on 301 again to get to Hillsborough River State Park.
So we might call this the tour of 301.
301 tour, yeah.
What we don't love.
What we don't love.
Is there anything we don't
love? I guess if you were to want to say negatives about it, is 30 amp over 50. You don't have sewer on site, which you don't have a lot of that at Florida state parks anyway. So you might want to ding it for that a little bit. Other than that, honestly, there's not a lot of water access except for the beach and the boat ramp. So it's not a waterfront Corps of Engineers style state park. Although Florida does have waterfront parks, this is not one of them.
But none of those are deal breakers.
No.
Post the names of the trails at the trails. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't understand why they just can't put a little placard on the post that's already there saying this is the trail.
That would make it a little easier to figure out. But it is fun going on the adventure, trying to figure out which trail we're on, which way we're going. So, and we found that in many more than one place. So, but that would be the only thing here that I would change, is just go ahead and name those trails so that we know exactly where we're at. But who knows, maybe there's a plan to do that.
There could be. So
it's clean.
Very clean.
It's quiet. And it's peaceful.
Very peaceful. So if you're looking for a place to grab for a few days, week maybe, check it out. Lake Manatee State Park, Central Florida.
Okay. Well, if you want to follow our journeys, like we said, next stop is Hillsborough River State Park. Go ahead and click subscribe. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we upload videos.
You can follow us on Facebook.
Or Instagram. We also have a website you can look at.
We're also a member of Our Village.
Yes.
In case you want to talk to us through Our Village.
Right. So leave a comment as well. We love the feedback.
Yes, we do. Ask questions. We'll answer what we know.
So follow the journey.
That's right. So this is Gary.
I'm Sharon.
Rough Road RV Life. We like looking at freedom.
We love looking at freedom every day.
All right.
Safe travels.